Time now for our Sunday specials. In April 2019, President Muhammadu Buhari signed a new minimum wage bill into law amid rising living costs and poverty levels, thus increasing the minimum wage by 62% from 18,500 naira to 30,000 naira. Senior correspondent Sharon Ijasan reports that some states are yet to implement the previous minimum wage, what more the newly approved wage by the president.
The minimum wage is a global issue which determines the least pay to be earned by workers. In Nigeria, especially in the northern part of the country, it is observed that some workers do not earn the minimum wage. Several engagements between organized labor, government and employers have not helped. In April 2019, President Muhammadu Buhari signed into law 30,000 naira minimum wage, which is about $67. I took a fact-finding trip to the northern part of Nigeria, where I met Sahura Umar, a veterinarian who works in the Department of Agriculture at Safe local government area of Zamfara State. Trained as a public health officer, she tearfully tells me she earns 7,500 naira and has been on level 3 for 10 years.
We feel very happy now when the government increased the salary for us. The minimum wage of 30,000 naira. 7,500. That's what they give me every month.
I do go to the farm and other things, struggling up and down, finding one thing or the other to see that I can live with my family and sponsor my children to school and clothing and even provide health. Because I don't have enough money to that I will sponsor. I take my children to private school. My children go to private school because I don't have money. I try as much as possible. Those that have finished their secondary school, I take them to COE or any other polytechnics so that I can be able to at least try as much as possible to see that, yes, I pay their school fees. And most of the school fees I used to pay, I either go for loan or I sell my farm product. Then at the end of the year to pay my school fees for those children, for my children that are in COE.
Rabiu Munir, an administrative staff of Bangudu local government area of Zamfara State, says he is a level 13 officer.
So actually,
he tells me he earns 27,000 naira, which is about $58, having spent 20 years in service. Okay, so can you tell me?
If you are assessing poverty, you can see it right now for me. I spent almost 20 years in service, but up to now I'm managing myself. I don't have electricity. It is difficult for me to feed myself in a day. Looking at that issue, if you go to our neighboring state like Katsina, somebody in my grade level can receive more than 70,000 in a month. But look at me here, I'm receiving 27,000 per month. You see the difference is clear. There is gap.
Here is a chart of Rabiu's monthly expenses. From Zamfara to Sokoto and Niger states, as well as others across the country, the story is the same, with slight differences at the local government level. According to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics (NBS), the country's inflation rate jumped to 17.33% in February 2021, the highest since February 2017. It jumped from the 16.47% recorded in January and compared to market forecast of 17.27%. It marks the 18th consecutive month of rising inflation as the coronavirus pandemic led to a plunge in oil prices and a weaker naira. This has raised food and transportation costs. Food inflation topped 21.79%, the highest since October 2005, and air transportation costs surged to 14.1%.
Same issue of unity.
In a reaction, the vice chairman of the Nigeria's Governors Forum and Sokoto State helmsman, Aminu Tambuwa, says some of the workers are unscheduled staff. Governor Tambuwal said in Sokoto precisely, there are efforts in place to engage workers properly so that they can earn justified wages.
You rather found them running concurrently with the permanent staff and then the term them unscheduled and scheduled staff. So I think it was possibly a well-intended program, but not properly structured and implemented, and that's why we're trying to see how best. I've assured them that we're not going to lay off people, but we, at the end of the day, are going to make sure that we have first the scheduled staff restored fully, and then we now discuss and engage with unscheduled and see if we are going to run a social investment program, or those of them who have the papers to go back to school, we put them on scholarship because we give our children in Sokoto State scholarship.
In the federal government imposing the national minimum wage when the resources available.
The bill seeking transfer of minimum wage from the exclusive to the concurrent legislative list has brought diverse reactions after scaling second reading at the House of Representatives. This led to a meeting between organized labor and the lower legislative chamber. For workers like Sahura, Rabiu and others who earn less than the approved minimum wage, how they and their families survive remains a miracle, with most of them engaging in farming and other skills. Sharon Ijasan, TVC News.